Welcome back to another video.
Videos. Do not obey. Stay woke.
Boom. When the horse stood up.
Ancient spiritual technology. Demons. Videos.
Heard any stories from your nanas or pawpaws?
Okay. Peace.
Alright guys, what's up? It's me, Do Not Obey. I am up under the weather, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna throw these glasses on. I don't know what I look like. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not feeling too good. But I've been trying to get this video out. This is a Fleur burn. I love her. And this is, as you can see, living under a dome, firmament, existing inside a mirrored reflection. Now, I haven't seen this yet. So I'm seeing this the first time with you guys. And let's just dive right in and let's just see what she has to say about the existence of the dome that I do believe that we also live in. Okay? Let's roll.
I was going to show you something. I'll get a compact mirror. I came in with a revolution that
And I'm outside, so bear with me. Grass, dogs, southern life, okay? And some sniffles.
a revelation that I found out just by chance. So the firmament is really, really strong. And yes, etymology, we're going to go into etymology, the words that are spelled, knowing that also there are languages. I bought a book that was off the chain. It is a mudra book, and literally the book is $40,000 now. Anyway, I'll go into that tonight.
I wonder why that book would cost so much, because knowledge is power. So now you have to pay to know the truth, because those that already know it are the richest ones allegedly running this fucked up planet. Fake planet.
The book that I bought for like a quarter of the price, and now it's $40,000. We'll go into that and why it's probably $40,000 at this time for this one particular book. It's crazy. They're making sure they're blocking everyone from getting any sort of help or anything. We're going to go into the conversation about this because it's interlaid with this, and I was going to show you something that the mister was going to get me a compact. So we're living under the firmament. We're living in a mirror, y'all. I found that out yesterday. It was crazy because I was like, okay, I know that everything is reflective, and I also know that everything is refracted back. Like basically we're living.
We learned that in elementary school.
Like I told you, we're living. Let me slow down. My perception is that we're living on the dark side of the moon. We're living on the moon. This isn't the earth. Earth is basically a reflection of, it's basically a terraformed planet, hollowed out planetoid that is the moon.
I have no idea. I wasn't expecting that. Could it be a possibility? Yeah. I mean, think about it. And then we never see the dark side of the moon. Because what if we are on the dark side of the moon? Shit just keeps getting better and better. What a wonderful world.
That makes us think that we're on something different than we're not. The only earth type of place is what I consider to be, and I got to be careful with this because after we found out the real map of all the planets that are living in the same infinite space as us, like we thought that everything lived above, but actually we found out that everything is like right beside us. All the planets are basically separated by domes, but they're infinitely connected. They're infinitely on the same space plane. So you know what they always have, the things of like above and below. There are things above and below us, but it's not to what you think. You think that all space it's an artificial construct. And if you understand and understand that their concept of gravity is also to trick you.
I don't believe gravity exists. I've seen places in the world where there's no so-called gravity. If gravity is gravity, whatever they're calling gravity, I don't know. Maybe she can explain it, but
when they're looking like they're bouncing around in space, they're really underwater, okay? If you want to know where space is, it's most likely underwater as opposed to above. Okay, because we're surrounded by a firmament and also, infinite waters. Also, we have a grid, multiple grids that are encasing each one of us in the arenas. So we have the firmament, which is that blue ice that, you know, the Nazis have blocked off certain sections that you would be able to access in and out. They're guarding. That's why all of the countries, whether they get along or not, how do you have all the countries supposedly fighting all the time? I'm going to get into it.
Before she says it, y'all know that watch me. I have not seen this. Y'all know that I've always said, why do we fight over everything? Everything but Antarctica. Why is a peace treaty there? Why are all the governments able to forget about all the problems we have in the world? And Antarctica is where all our problems aren't. Like, we get to Antarctica, and now we're just so civilized governments, and we're all going to get along in Antarctica. What is in Antarctica? Why?
I wanted to share this. How is it that you have all of the countries fighting all the time, but they can all come together and agree on one space, which is the
Ben said it. I'm sorry.
which is the Arctic, in the Arctic, where everything is blocked off. Like, you can't even access to go to the Arctic plane. They blocked it, but they've all agreed to protect the airspace, who can go there, Antarctica. So why would all these countries be beefing? Like, if I'm beefing with you, I'm gonna block you just for point. I'm not gonna agree with you with anything. I'm just saying, call me a little petty. Maybe I'm just like that.
I'm very petty, so I totally agree. If I have beef with you, I have beef with you, right? I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, we're going to go to this one place in the woods and we're all going to be so great friends for 2 hours. Then when we leave, we'll hurt each other again. Huh, that's fake as hell, for one. Okay? Everybody fake. Everybody's working together to destroy whatever's going on. This is all a game that they're playing and that we're not even, I don't want to play it, but we're being forced to play, in my eyes.
Call me a little petty. But if we got beef, why am I going to have an agreement with you about where I could fly, or where people could fly, or what we could do? Do you understand? They all have an agreement. Every country, every notable country, every continent have an agreement that they aren't, that whole space above Antarctica and around it is all protected. Like, you and I, if we decided, yo, homies, let's go over there and let's go chill and let's see if we can go over there, we couldn't go there. We would be seized, we would probably be taken out, and they wouldn't allow us to be over there. Okay? That's number one. So that is the case over there in Antarctica. And that is where there are probably entry and exit spaces to get out of the firmament.
I already believe that. I felt that a long time ago, back in 2000, where I started doing heavily research on the Illuminati, the elites, the Rothschilds, everybody that's connected, the GOV, allegedly, you know, with my theories. I've only found one place in the world that nobody argues over, and that's Antarctica. And that's where I believe the portals and the out and entrance is to this fake ass world.
Okay, that's an exit and entry point, as far as I know. That's I'm surmising that based on their behavior and the amount of knowledge, information that we've gotten from that area. Okay,
I agree.
and also we know if the planets are living on an infinite space side by side, some are a little higher and lower. I think many of you saw the map that we were looking at, that the gentleman, I think I mentioned the book. Hold on. So if you look at all the different planets. They're side by side. Okay? Yep. I have a better let me share the book with you. It's in Spanish, so for my Latina family, it'll be easier for you to read. It's called El Navegante que Cruzo. Hold on.
Y'all catch that? I'm not about to repeat it. Let me know if y'all can catch this. This is the book that shows these maps of the planets sitting beside each other. So we have fake Earth, wherever the hell this is, okay? They're beside each other. Okay, everything's beside each other. We're looking down on it. Everything's beside each other. Okay? Okay.
Okay, so let me state this. Why is it important that I share this with you? Because I can bring in all the other pieces of the puzzle together. The fact of the matter is that there are portals and stargates, reference points, vortexes, and portals that open simultaneously during one particular time. And that time is coming up. With the so-called pole shift or the shifting of the magnetic sphere, that literally allows for different portals to open. Usually portals open and close without being synced to the other planets. But at this time, that's why they tell you at this time you're able to leave the firmament, because there is a entry and exit point that happen.
It's just like being in a time loop. Have you ever watched that movie, Time Loop? I'll try to put a picture of the movie if you guys haven't seen it. Y'all need to watch that movie. These kids, long story short, get trapped looking for their dad. He goes into this cave and he's seeing all these people from the old days. I don't know, like caves to Spaniards to cowboys, and they're all trapped in this time loop. But there's a little gap that they can find in a little bit of time to where they can get out. And then the loop closes. And we're back to the snake that eats its tail until the loop stops. Then the loop opens.
The exit and entry points actually coincide with one another with the vortexes and portals. That's also why all of a sudden they turned CERN back on. Remember, CERN was a vortex portal locator. The
Allegedly.
the opening over there in Antarctica just happens to be more of an open domed, open part of the dome. But there are multiple places that actually have vortexes and portals that open. And during the time of the pole shift, they open simultaneously. And I found out also that the so-called 5G is not, it is a, oh God, 5G it isn't a telephone thing. It is a jail. It is a, you know how they have in certain prisons, they have electric fences. I found out, and this is
we're all walking around with free dog collars. Zzz, hang it out. Zzz, hang it out. Zzz, hang it out.
just from having just a divine knowing. I don't want to say entities are telling me, because I am the ultimate. We're all the ultimate. There isn't anything above or below you. You are higher. There's another version of you, and other timelines, and then we'll get into Dr. Strange. There are other versions of you, higher and lower, but it's all you, because it's a multiverse.
You ever seen the movie The One? There can only be one.
So there's different variations of you. There's those who are more conscious. There's a you that's more conscious, and that person exists in another timeline, very similar, but with differences in how they exist within the perimeters of the people or frequencies of people that you know. There's different places, but what that 5G is not a telephone communicator device. It is literally a prison, electromagnetic prism, generator that is linked to all the other ones to reinforce the grid, so that it would make it harder for you to access exit points. Okay, remember I talked about the blue glasses, the blue contacts, how they were disallowing you from seeing the yellow, the gridding, which is a yellow, like a yellow kind of feel, like a yellow grid. It almost looks like a honeycomb.
Yeah.
So that is why they have them all over. They've reinforced it along with these satellites that are in orbit. They're not outside of orbit. They're actually in. If you think that they're outside, remember, we can't see above a certain point. They're not leaving. There's no ships leaving the firmament. They aren't able to do that, but they can leave through vortexes and portals. Now, if
Stargates.
what I think is the hydro collider, which is HARP. It's just basically a hydro collider. And please don't think that HARP is only located in Switzerland. That is one of many. There's one in Hartford, Connecticut. There's another one in Arizona. There's another one over in Alaska. There's one in Nigeria, I think also in South.
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised, because that is the motherland over there in Africa. Just saying.
South Africa. I think there's a several everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry, not HARP. I'm sorry, CERN. I'm sorry,
Either way, hell, I'm not surprised.
CERN. CERN exists. There's multiple hydrocolliders everywhere, and the hydrocolliders, which I think many of you who've known me for over the years, hydrocolliders are literally meant to pinpoint and find portals and vortexes naturally occurring and artificially or alien instituted. Okay, so that's why they turned it on, because they want to see where all the openings in their grid.
Truman Show, The Matrix, the movie Get Out, They Live. Let's just keep going. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Stargate, Star Wars, Journey to the Center of the Earth. So many more.
They want to see where there are permeations of exit points and entrance points so that they can close it. So most likely when they turn CERN on, they're looking to see where there's permeations in their grid, where there are openings. It's almost like having a prison system and you're looking to, or you have a fence and you want to see where there's cracks in the fence. So you may do something to maybe see the fence to see if there's anything, any places in the fence that have been weakened, or if there's...
It pisses me off that we don't even have a chance unless we can listen to people like this and believe them, or try to get some type of information from people like me. But we're going to be labeled crazies or shadow banned and overlooked on YouTube. We're not doing the stupid ass shit that people do to get this YouTube views. Just saying. It's ridiculous. I'm just saying.
What are you talking? Serpent, you need to go. I'm hand motions. See, this is why you're ignorant. You're probably never tried.
Now, she is on a live, so she is responding to people in the chat, those that don't want to listen, those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, but still want to like label people a certain way and judge. But we're not supposed to judge, remember, because we're controlled by this great entity that's done so many great things for this planet.
Traveled in your day in your life. You don't know any other cultures but your own. If you know that I'm from New York, we use hands a lot, and also I'm Caribbean. So what is...
And no offense, but being African American, like, this is what we do. Like, if I wanted to, I could sit here and be like, look, this is how it is. I'm about to tell y'all this. Like, we move with our hands. We talk with our hands. We dance. Like, we are dancing creatures. Like, we are musical creatures. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's our culture, man. Like, we're very expressive. Now, I don't know why we're always seen as... Let me not even get on that. That's politics.
wrong with you? See, this is what I'm saying. This is the type of people make up lies. Look at her name. Serpent Exposer. Yeah. Anyway, ignore her. So I'm going to keep using my hands because I'm from New York. That's what we do. And if you don't travel, of course you wouldn't know that because you're ignorant. See, ignorant people always have you distracted because they always are limited in how they're able to see things because they're so... It's like, those...
Preach, girl. Preach it, baby. I'm just saying. That's how I feel. It's just like, I try to just talk to people, like normal people around me. Not you guys on YouTube, right? Just normal everyday life. La, 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 la. And nobody has picked up research. Nobody has even looked into it. But they're telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. They look at me like I'm crazy. And they just dismiss it. But what they believe and what they've been told, they haven't looked into research on it. They haven't seen if it was going to be discredited. But they believe it.
There's permeations in the field. I personally think they turned the CERN on to see where the vortexes, the naturally occurring vortexes, because this planetoid that we're living in is highly uninhabitable. Highly uninhabitable. It's very difficult to live on the surface because this is not the type of terrain that is meant to host healthy biological life. This is an encasement with multiple domes.
Like a pterodome, I guess. Like, plants. Ain't that what that's called, that you can grow plants in?
And multiple grids that are encasing. It's like a terrarium.
That's what I was trying to say.
A terrarium that's made like, you know, when you go into and you go and buy a fish, or you go and buy a lizard, or you go and buy an animal, and you put them in this encasement, but you put everything that, you know, that would, you know, make this animal think that they're in their home. You know, they'll put some fresh grass in there, or
Like a zoo. Bitch, we live in a zoo.
you know, fake trees in there. You put some soil that is reminiscent to where the animal comes from. You put the type of foods that the animal is used to, or foods that will be more cohesive for you to be able to, you know, imprison the animal. This is what we're living in. This isn't Earth. This isn't where we live. This is an artificial construct that we're living in. It's fake. All of this is fake. All of this is a holographic system. How do you know it's holographic? Because thoughts are things. If this was real, I couldn't think it and then it manifests into reality. That's how you know it's some sort of a hologram, or a what do you call it? Like a like
simulation.
virtual reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think it and then it comes into your reality because it isn't real. We're in something that uses our thoughts, and that's why they manipulate our thoughts all the time by constantly bombarding you with perpetual news, okay?
News.
And socially engineered, public media, you know, disbursements, our news, our, you know, whatever it is, okay? And be mindful to ignore all of the social media things that are going on now. What they're doing now, let me just put this in here and then we'll go. It's The Sims. Thank you, D's.
That makes sense. The fucking Sims.